this is Charles Fockaert on November 18th, 2017. This is number 32 in the series On the Road with Charles Fockaert. I want to welcome all of you. Thank you for supporting this channel. And I want to get right to it. Today's the 18th, and I was looking at Proverbs in eSword, and this is what I found. Let's go have a look at that, shall we? Proverbs 18:19. A brother offended is harder to be won than a strong city, and their contentions are like the bars of a castle. And I'm going to tell you from personal experience that I've offended others because I open my big mouth when I'm in a bad mood, or for whatever reason I say something and the brother gets offended, and we're never able to put it back together again. And that's cost me untold problems, things I've said I wish I hadn't have said. Hey, we all do it, and that's why we need to forgive. The brother comes and said, hey, you know what, I said something the other day, or I offended you, I think. Can you forgive me? I didn't mean it, blah, blah, blah. Can you forgive me? And that's why we are to forgive our brothers 70 times 7. That's the euphemism, or that's a maxim, or that's not the word I want. That's just a way of saying, hey, forgive your brother when they offend you, if they ask you to forgive them. And then number 18 down here, Proverbs 18:24. A man that has friends must show himself friendly. I try to make friends as much as I possibly can. And this fella Ajax that I mentioned the other day, I thought we were gonna leave together. We were kind of talking about it being in a caravan, and he said, "Yeah, I was hoping to leave with these other guys, but then I got that jaywalking ticket, and I couldn't leave with them." And then the forecast was for wind to come up on Thursday. So I wanted to kind of head out of here, Thursday, and perhaps travel with him because we're both going to the exact same place. Well, he got up and left, and without coming over and saying anything, without talking to me. And I thought, okay, fine, hey, I've been 65 years without you as my friend, and I guess I can go another 65. But so anyway, and that wind did come up. I'll tell you what, Thursday afternoon about 2 o'clock, I hadn't left yet, and I was in no big hurry. I was working on, I put the running lights on the back. They're all corroded. I didn't notice it. They were working before, but something happened and it didn't work, and I wanted to fix that. So they ordered a new running light. It came on Thursday morning. I had 2, but I didn't have the 3. So anyway, I put those in. And I wanted to kind of fix the hazard lights. But before I get to that, on Thursday afternoon, about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the wind started to pick up. And I tell you, that wind blew. They said going to be 25 sustained with gusts to 30 to 40 miles, 50 miles an hour. And I'm sitting up here on the bluff. And that night, Thursday night, I was concerned. I mean, that wind was howling through here. And I thought, I actually went out and put a block. I blocked the rear tire of my Toyota because I didn't, and even though it was in gear, that's how paranoid I was. Because my Mini Winnie here, the mobile cabin, is sitting broadside to this wind. And all night long, that wind was blowing me, and I'm only 25 feet from the bluff here. It was too late to move it. And I was worried all night long that this thing was going to blow over. I mean, that's how bad the wind was. Anyway, it didn't happen, thank goodness. And the wind blew all night long. Everything in this thing was just back and forth. So Thursday night to Friday. Yesterday, the wind blew all day. And about 2 o'clock, I finally said, you know what, I got to fix those hazard lights. And I want to thank you for praying, because one of the brothers says that when he watches my videos, he prays for me. And I want to thank you for that. A lot of people don't think prayer works. And I'm telling you, and I got to relate the story to you sometime about when I first realized how much prayer works. But I don't want to get into that right now. That'll be future date. Something happened in my life that we were praying about, and it was very important that the prayer get answered. And I'll get into that later. But he says he prays for me, and I want to thank you for that. I've been praying about the hazard lights. There's an intermittent short, and there was also my blinker, my right blinker, so they were connected. It would short out. I've spent probably $15 or $20 on the fuses for the blinker and the hazard lights. So I had to get this fixed because it's a law here. You got to have the hazard lights if you're a slow-moving vehicle. So anyway, the wind was howling. I had to brace the hood of my truck to keep from blowing over with a bungee cord and the thing. I mean, that's how much the wind was blowing yesterday. So I got out there and I said, I got to find this short. Now, I've been praying about this. Sometimes those are pretty hard to find. Long story short is, I found the wire that runs from the passenger side to the driver's side, the green wire. It went over the top of the frame, and I felt up in there, and guess what? There was a rub in the wire. So I was able to wrap that baby up, and my hazard lights work. And I took care of that yesterday in the howling wind, and they're fixed. The wind died down yesterday. Today's Saturday. The wind's supposed to die down, so I could move on if I wanted to. But I think I'm going to stay here today and tomorrow. It's a weekend. A lot of people come over from Las Vegas, and they go to Lake Mead area, so there'll be a lot more people on the road. That'll give me a chance to go to the Valley of Fire again. Maybe take a hot shower over there. And I want to show you some pictures of the Valley of the Fire. But before we do that, I wanted to bring you again a quote from one of the Three Stooges, and that's Karl Marx. Remember the Three Stooges? Karl Marx, Sigmund Freud, and Einstein. Okay, Karl Marx said this, and my buddy up there in Edmonton, Ryan, sent me this quote. The Jews set themselves free in proportion as the Christians become Jews. The Jews set themselves free in proportion as Christians become Jewish. As the non-Jews become Jews between the ears, that sets the Jews free. Thus, they contributed, the Jews did, considerably to making money the means, the measure, and the end of all human activity. What he's saying there, Karl Marx is saying, is that to the Jews, making money is the most important thing in their life. The other quote here, if we would have added sex and power, Karl Marx would have nailed it. Mankind has been inducted into a satanic cult. Look around you. The Esau Edomites control our world, and they've been able to get the Christians, the white Caucasians, to become Esau Edomites between the ears. And that's why the world is in the predicament, in the messed up condition that it is today, because money, sex, and power. Not so much, power. Look at look at the people in the military that are non-Jewish. How the power and man, just think of the president. He gets on Air Force One, and he's got the entire military at his beck and call. He can say, we're going to bomb, we're going to attack the little tiny country of North Korea, who couldn't fight their way out of a paper bag, folks. But these people are consumed with making money and sex a perversion, every form of sex, a perverted sexual activity, and the power. And they're able to use their media, and they get the Caucasian race, the Israelites, from the 12 tribes of Israel. If you're new here, the Esau Edomites are not the Israelites of the Old Testament. The Caucasian race is, for the most part. And boy, they've got control. And there's a lot more I could say there, but let's move on, shall we? I made a statement in a previous video that the kingdom of heaven and kingdom of God were basically were not the same. Kingdom of heaven is one term, kingdom of God is another. And a supporter of this channel sent me an email and said, you mentioned that, and I was wondering if you could look into this for me. And I stand corrected. I no longer think that, but there's still some question there for me, and I'm going to look into it more. And I don't want to go into that right now, but see, folks, I made a mistake in that I had this thought in my mind, and I didn't check it, and I heard another brother teach the same thing. And Acts 17:11 says we need to check things out for ourselves, and I didn't do that. And this individual brought this to my attention, and I got to look into it. So I was wrong, and I stand corrected. But there's still something there I'm not sure about, and I'll get into that hopefully in the future. The kingdom of heaven and the kingdom of God appear to be the same. But it appeared to me that the kingdom of heaven was within and the kingdom of God was to come. But I'm going to have to look into that a little further. I finished the book, The Camp of the Saints, and I'm going to get into it later. I'm going to kind of do a synopsis for you. This is an excellent book. I might want to get your hands on it and read it, but I won't go into that right now. I want to show you some pictures that I took while I was here. Let's go have a look at those, shall we? Pretty much what things look like for me. Right over here, there's a bluff here that drops off pretty significantly. And you can see they're spraying up here. I took this picture because of the spraying they're doing here. They spray here almost every day. And I wanted you to know everywhere I've been, from Montana to Idaho to Utah and Nevada, they're spraying, and they spray almost every day. And it's not just over a small area. It's all over the skies, folks. That's what the skies around here look like the other day after they spray all afternoon. Now, they can't leave the creation alone. They think they're going to counteract global warming, which is a joke, is a farce. You know, I was thinking about this the other day. People don't even realize what's going on right above their heads. 99% of the people that I say, hey, we're spraying, don't even appear to have even seen it. They keep their head down, and they're so consumed with what they're doing, they can't even look around. Yogi Berra, quote I quote often. You know, it's amazing what you can observe just by watching, folks. So what would happen someday? What would stop them from actually putting very, very harmful chemicals that had an immediate effect on people? And people were expiring by the millions. I don't think anybody would even notice how it was happening. It's pretty cool. The other day I was able to pull out my rocket stove, and I got it set up here in the afternoon, and I bought a steak, a black Angus steak on sale there, cheap. You know, United States is pretty lucky that we got good meat that we can buy. It was only $5. Cut that baby in half, $2.50 for a nice top sirloin steak, baked potato veggies on top of my own rocket stove that I built. Really good feeling at the end of the day to have a meal like that cooked on my own stove. You can buy this wood here because there's no trees around, and I bought the wood, and then I was able to cut the wood in half with my saw and split it up. So I get a lot of meals in the comfort. This is a portable campfire. I can sit out there at night and feed that fire a little bit at a time and not use a lot of wood. And I have the you know, the ambience of the flame, and it's just a cool, just a relaxing evening, folks. We went over to the Valley of Fire last Monday, and this is a rock that I was near, so I went up there and looked at it. These are the steps. You go up here. And then this is my mobile canyon. I took this picture from up on top, looking out over the valley, so you could get an idea. And they were spraying here. You could see one right there and another one right there. And then over here, they're spraying all over, folks, like I say. This is what the rock looks like. Very beautiful area, and that's why I'm going to hang around here one more day. I'm not going to leave here till Monday, so I can go back to the Valley of Fire and have a look around this weekend. And this is what we're supposed to be impressed with, folks. You know, this is, wow, the Indians did a sketch on the rock so many years ago. Compare that to what the white race was able to do. And but they want us to be impressed with this. And they said they don't know what it means. This is like scribbling on a rock for a young child. But anyway, that's the best these quote Native Americans could do. So we got the wind still blowing out there, and I just don't want to travel in the wind. So I'm going to hang around here today, maybe go to this Lost City Museum down here, kind of relax a little bit more, and then go back to the Valley of Fire and look around there tomorrow. And then head out here on Monday, because it's supposed to be it's much warmer where I'm headed down in Arizona. So I'm about 4 or 5 hours away the way I drive. So I'm hoping to get around Lake Mead, then get down there and get to where I'm going and park and not have to move for quite a while. I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting this channel. And by the way, you can speed up, I've said many times, you can speed up these videos on that little gear down on the bottom of YouTube, and you can speed me up to 1.25, and that seems to be a pretty good speed. And that way it doesn't take as long to listen to me talk. And I do want to thank you for supporting this channel. And may the grace of God, our Father, the creator of the Valley of Fire, and everything I see around here. This is a very beautiful area, and he's the creator. And may his grace be upon us all, for we most certainly need it. And I covet your prayers. I really do, and I want to thank you for praying. May God's grace be upon us all, for we most certainly need it. See you.
Walking with the Lord like I used to. It's like temptation's got a hold of me, and I cry at night 'cause I ought to, and the praise to him I hold, I'm on my bended knee. From the road I chose to raise my family, and the more I learned forgiveness, the less I saw of grief. And the more I watched his children, in their eyes I saw his light. Thank you, Lord, for the blessings. Thank you for the ride.